Hello, and welcome back to Purposeful Woman podcast. And today we have Terry Wildemann. She's the owner of Intuitive Leadership and a Business and Mindset Navigator, speaker, and certified coach. She works with overwhelmed entrepreneurs to dissolve self-sabotage, to shift and align their business and life. Terry is also written 2 solo books and 7 co-authored books. Hi and welcome, Terry.
Thank you for inviting me. It's so nice to be here with you. It's always great to be in your energy.
No, thank you. As always, I would love for you to share how do you do what you do and what inspired you to do what you do.
Well, what inspired me was multiple burnouts. That's the bottom line. I've always been a teacher. I've always been the type of person who shared and always very caring, and leadership is part of my DNA and also highly intuitive. The missing link for me was understanding boundaries and understanding how my emotions helped to create a lot of what was outside of me. So as a result, these multiple burnouts were because of my perfectionism, because of my workaholism. I love to work. I'm very passionate about the work that I do. And it's about having low boundaries instead of high boundaries. It's also about, we're often told about work-life balance, work-life balance. Well, it's a myth. My TED talk is around that. Work-life balance is a myth. We have been sold a bill of goods. All right. So it's really more about work-life harmony and having each component in our life integrated with the other and being fully present in the moment for each and every place that we are. And it takes a while to get to that point. I live in a very practical, tactical, and logical world. My background is very practical, tactical, and logical. And after my last surgery, and my doctor looked at me, he said, "I don't know what this Reiki thing is that you're talking about, but there's nothing in my toolkit that can save you from future surgeries." And I said, "Thank you very much." And I became a Reiki master in 1998, and I haven't had any of those episodes since. So the next holistic modality fell in my lap, and then the next, and the next, and the next. And I'm certified in NLP, EFT, emotion code, body code, all these things. And they're all in my very practical business toolkit. I've been in business since I was 18 years old. I know business. I know what it is. I know entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurs are passionate about the work that they do. Thus, the multiple burnouts. So I've learned so much about how to be a phenomenal entrepreneur. And that's why I created Intuitive Leadership U. So when you go to intuitiveleadership.com, my website name, you will find the university there. And it's all about courses and coaching that implements the practical side of business, the personal side of business, and the spiritual side of business. And a lot of it are things that I had to learn for myself. So these are real world courses.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Wow, that's a lot of tools in your toolbox. And it's amazing. So, what would you say with everything that you know right now and such a big experience, such a long experience, if you know everything that you know now and you will go back 20 years ago, what would you tell yourself to do differently?
Breathe is the first thing, because when you're highly stressed, you're not breathing. And to stop worrying about what other people think about you. It's none of your business what other people think about you. And at that time, I was in a man's world. So I was always worried about being taken seriously. I was always worried about whether or not they're going to be judging me based on what I was wearing, what I was doing, that kind of stuff. And I now know that none of that really matters anymore. And if you're confident, competent, and credible with who you are, your energy walks in the room before you do. Your energy lets people know you mean business. Your energy shares with the world that you are grounded. And that is based on connecting the brain and the head with the brain and the heart, because they're both brains. And when you connect the two of them together, you are incredibly coherent. And when you're coherent like that, people sit up and listen. And the rest of it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter because you are so tuned in and tapped into your own inner essence, your own inner guidance system. And this last book, my book, The Enchanted Boardroom, teaches people how to connect with their inner wisdom, their inner guides, their spirit guides, themselves, their intuition. When you add that to that very practical, tactical, and logical perspective, you become unstoppable.
Love it. Okay, I love that. And I think, it's very important to be in our heart more and be in our heart always as we can, as many
Mhm.
times as we can, as longer as we can. So
Yeah.
important. Okay, so what would my next question will be, what would you recommend? What will be your advice? Like number one tip two for entrepreneurs who wants to get the leadership better, who wants to get in touch with their intuitive leadership, what will be the one tip?
Listen to the signs and stop running away from them. I ran away from them because people around me, they were very religious. I mean, I've been working with my angels since I was a kid, but never talked about it. My intuition was incredibly powerful. Four doctors told me I could never have children. They all wanted to do surgery. And I looked at them and said, since the age of 8, I said I was going to have two and adopt one. My oldest was born 9 months and 2 days after my wedding date. My middle one was born 4 days later. 4 days later, 4 years later. And 4 years after that, we adopted my youngest. So my dream at the age of 8 of having two and adopting one became a reality. And it became a reality because I chose to listen to that inner guidance system and refuse to allow other people to tell me what I can do and what I can't do. It's really about tapping into how you truly feel. Listen to those intuitive hits, listen to the signs. Um, to give you an example of what I'm talking about is I was coaching somebody the other day and we were at a restaurant. This just happened on Friday. We were at a restaurant and this woman happened to be a real estate agent and she's talking about going to a different state and a different city. And sure enough, somebody walked in with a ball cap that said the exact city that she's looking to go to work with. Of all the places in the world, that specific city was on that woman's ball cap. That's a sign. That's the universe giving you little signals that let you know that it's listening. It's listening. So it really is about listening to, when you say, oh, there's no such thing as coincidence, wrongo. Wrong, 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 wrong. Synchronicity, and there is coincidence. Nothing happens by coincidence. Everything is orchestrated. Everything is based on how you're thinking, and it's about listening to that instead of dismissing it. Oh, it's just coincidence. No, it's not. It's a message. Listen to it.
I love it. I love it. I love synchronicities, and I think we get to listen to them as well. I always say I teach how to create synchronicity with my energetic time management, but my listeners
Yeah,
know about it.
which is
Okay,
fantastic, by the way.
thank you. Which so the last, it's not even a question, but I want you to fill in the blank for me, and it sounds like this: if you really knew me, you will know that I am blank.
If you really knew me, you would know that I am so authentic and in integrity because see these angels behind me? They have my back and they help me to support you and every person who crosses my path. So this is my angel side. This is my left brain books on this side, and I sit right smack in the middle.
I love it. Thank you. All right. I know you have a beautiful gift for our audience. Can you tell us more of what it is and what they're going to get, and as well where they can find you, more of you?
Sure. The gift is a tool that is so simple you think it's not working, but I introduced it in the Enchanted Boardroom, my book, and it's called the Quick Shift Technique. And the quick shift technique are 4 very simple steps that I invite you to use before you get out of bed, when you're brushing your teeth, when you're in the shower, before you go on stage, before you get on a phone call. All the time, use this thing because it helps you step into coherence by connecting the brain and the head and the brain and the heart. It uses simple breathing and visualization, and it's incredibly powerful. And you can find it at quickshiftzone.com quicksift.com. That's QUICKSHIFT zone, ZONE.com. And you can also find me and my courses and everything else that we're offering at intuitiveleadership.com.
Thank you, Terry, and we will link all the links in the show notes. Thank you for listening or watching this episode. So you can go always to a description, and there will be show notes so you can grab all the links that Terry mentioned. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for listening or watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
And if you love this episode and you would love to see more of that, click the subscribe button to Purposeful Woman Podcast. And don't forget to text us to stay in tune with the Purposeful community for awesome tricks by texting to number +1 401 399 4105. And we will link descriptions in the episode to all of that we mentioned today. Bye. Turn your one day to day one with a purposeful day.